Okay, so I'm Jacqueline Shaw. I'm your African fashion business coach, and I'm here to help you win in your African business this year. Basically, I'll be giving you the tools to be able to create and launch, your own African fashion business this year, and to be able to do it successfully and to do it profitably and do it ethically as well. So be responsible in all of your sourcing and your production. Okay, so I'm your go-to girl. If that's what you want to happen, then I'm the one to make it happen for you. Okay, so the topic is how you can clearly differentiate your brand from the many Waxprint brands out there. I know this is a route that many people want to take. So if this is your situation, okay, that you've launched this brand, you love what you do, but you're struggling to be seen and to stand out, and to stand out amongst all of the brands out there. Think of La Vie, think of Grassfields, think of all those brands you've seen on Zuva when it was around, or Afrikia, which is still around. And because they kind of all look the same, if you're honest, because they're getting the same Waxprint, and they sometimes I'm like, I don't know if that's that brand or that brand, because there's similar styles and silhouettes. One does something like a off the shoulder kind of fitted, you know, jumper suit, and then everybody else does the same design, but they just use a different wax, and you don't know which brand is which. They're all singing from the same hymn sheet, and they're using the same prints. But what are you doing differently? What are you doing to differentiate your brand so you can stand out? Maybe you think it's just about using a new different wax print, right? Maybe. Or let me put the volume up. Or putting more money behind Facebook ads, or getting an influencer. But there is so much missing out, and there is a route to your business, route to your problem that you need to know, okay, what is best to actually build a strong foundation, okay? So the Band-Aid effect, I said, you know, what the Band-Aid effect is and why you need to avoid it at all costs. So this is where you put like a quick fix tips to your problem. This is where you just try to just cover over the things that you really are making your business not work, or making you not stand out. We need to recognize these things, okay? There's some in-depth mistakes and deeper problems going on that is much deeper than the quick fix or Band-Aid or plasters, as we say here in the UK, that you want. See, the African fashion business will take time. Let me not play around, but it will take time to build. It will take time to grow. So yes, African fashion businesses do take a time to build, to grow, to get your profits in. You know, but there is a system to it, okay? And just as much as the same with any other African or any other fashion business in general, but it takes just patience to work through this, okay? So let's remember that. So people don't always see this. It's a hard lesson, as many start an African fashion business because you want to start an African inspired business. Maybe you want to help Africa. Maybe you want to do good. Maybe you want to have an eco business, but you're making clear rookie mistakes as you kick off, and it isn't helping. So some of the mistakes that I've seen many brands do, and let's go through some of those things, okay? So maybe you're starting a business without any kind of budget. Yeah, maybe you expect Africa to be like China. Maybe you're working with the one tailor by the roadside. Maybe you're thinking that you're not qualified to do it, and maybe that you're just not going around it the way you want, or you're not even starting because of that. Maybe you're just getting recommendations from friends and family. That's a mistake that you're making. So we're talking about differentiating your brand from the Waxprint brands out there. So with these mistakes, you're going around and around and trying to put a Band-Aid over the shoddy samples, over the challenges, without addressing the real issues. Mainly, big one, that the supplier is not good, or you're sourcing fabric from China as it's cheaper, but you still want it to look African. So you maybe really struggle with understanding how to start and build and launch that fashion business, but you think it's just something that, you know, it's less than it is. You think it's something that is less of a problem than it is. This is why you do what you do, and you make the same mistake. So for example, you need to delve deeper into it to find out what is the challenges. So let's just look a bit further and see if this resonates with you. Okay, so take recommendations from friends or families, you know, of their tailors that they know or they've met on the roadside, and they think that a one-piece tailor, a one tailor by the roadside can produce in bulk, and that they can scale a business. This isn't going to happen. You try to start a business with no budget, you want to invest in the business, and you want to invest in yourselves, but you have no budget for that. These things are stopping you. One tailor can't scale your business. Having no budget can't scale your business, because how are you going to pay for the tailor? Even if you do work with one tailor, how are you going to pay for that tailor? How are you going to pay for your samples and your production, even if it's small production? You need to have a budget in place, okay? You need to think scale in the beginning, and the budget kind of lines up with that. That's why I put those two together. And then believing that making in Africa is the same as making in China, in the fact that the way that things can be done. You have the same expectations, okay? This is not going to help your business. It's totally not going to make the business work. And then feeling that you're not ready to have an African fashion business because you've got no fashion experience or the degree or the contacts, or you've never visited the continent yet. So you think that you can't do it. And then you don't put a strategy for sourcing your supplier in place. You don't have a country selection plan in place. Okay, so basically you're doing everything kind of blind. And the biggest mistake of all is expecting results but not willing to put in time, energy, or money. These are the big mistakes that you've been making, and this is already going to be stopping your growth as an African fashion business entrepreneur. If any of these resonate with you, tell me what it is. No. It depends what you want. Some people, if that's what you want and that's the kind of business that you want to have, which is African inspired, then that's what you're going to do, and that's fine. Okay. I always say it's all down to your business model. It's down to what you want to achieve. So that's okay. All right. If you want to work with artisans, but then you're going to be sourcing from, made in China, then it's kind of a disrespect. Okay. You have to give precedence back to those who are where it originates from, and that's all cultural appropriation and everything like that. So why isn't it working? Why is this current sourcing and manufacturing strategy that you got cheapening your product? So when you think of the one tailor who can't scale your business, who can't scale for you, okay, don't get me wrong, friends and family, they have the right ideas in mind. They want to be able to do the best for you. And so having them is not the problem. Having them present people to you is not the problem. But if that's your only way to get industry connections, then you'll need to rethink things, because those people they're recommending are not set up for scale. And I keep going on and on about scale because we're here to do business. We're not here to have a hobby. We're here to do business. Okay, you want to understand the system and the business of fashion, and you don't want to get crap samples again. You don't have to start all over again. And when you work with one tailors, you may have to keep doing that all the time. So it can be a risky business. It can be expensive business, and it's even more when you work with the one tailor because they can't scale. So we need to rethink that. Working your whole sourcing strategy, because it's going to cheapen your product, because they're going to be making one piece today going to look like this, the next piece is going to look like that, and like one will look this way and one will look that way. You're like, they look different, but it's the same cut and everything, but it looks different because they're not used to the scale. Now it takes a lot of time and energy, and if you want to start without any budget, the other thing, it's like getting on a ship. It's like you're going out to sea, and that you don't have a compass. You don't have any kind of direction. You don't have no GPS. You don't have your phone to direct you. You have nothing. That's what it's like starting this business without any kind of budget or any kind of direction. Okay? You need a compass. You need some kind of strategy. You need some kind of focus. Because while you're building these strategies in place, it's just sourcing strategy, you're seeing how you're going to grow, you're seeing how you're going to scale, what you're going to put back into the business. And then you know that, okay, you're building for success. You can see ahead. You know where you're going. You know how many pieces you want to produce, know how much production you want to have in place. All of these things are in place. That's going to help you to have better quality samples. Okay, let me go a bit further in, because I know this might not all be like very clear right now. But you see, your business needs to be fed. And you need to have a mindset to invest in your business and invest in yourself. Okay? And this is the non-negotiable. We all have to do it. As business people, we have to do it. And it is actually, this is the thing that's going to make you grow if you want to grow. Looking for a cheap option is not the way. And I always say that. We've made all that. I think I probably tried it back in the day, trying to do things cheaply. That's why I got ripped off in the beginning when I first started my business. I got recommendations from a friend, and that one tailor ripped me off and ran off with my stuff, and I got police involved. So these things happen when you don't go around things the proper way. Okay, so for example, maybe you're sewing for yourself. You say, oh, I'm going to sew my samples, I'm going to do some of my production myself to save money. That's not running the business. That's just trying to do things the cheap way just to get things done. It's not going to help you for the long term. You've got to think long term. You've got to think as a business owner. Think as have the mindset of the person that you want to be. Have the mindset of the business owner that you want to be. Have the mindset of the person who would run the kind of business that you want to have. Okay, as my mother would always say, you buy cheap, you buy twice, you pay twice. You buy cheap, you pay twice. So you might as well just pay for the thing up front and the cost, the way that it costs, just to get the help that you need, to get the support that you need, to get the structures and the systems that you need. Okay, just pay up at the beginning and just get it out of the way. So, and then the Think in Africa, producing in Africa is the same like producing in China. This shows a lack of knowledge, it shows a lack of understanding, but you know what, this can easily get fixed. This is just knowledge, this is just not understanding, this is just ignorance that we all have and we just don't know. That's fine, we can sort that out. We can get you those answers that you're sorted, okay, right here in this place. The fact that you're showing up today, awesome, glad. And then thinking that you're disqualified. Now this one is a mindset issue, okay? This one is a mindset issue. Thinking that you don't know enough to get started. You need to just learn to understand the market in Africa. We're all guilty of thinking that we are not good enough. You know, I've gone for things where I am completely not qualified for. I do not have the qualification. They say that, especially when it goes for jobs and things like that, that men tend to just go for the things even if they have, you know, only a percentage of the qualifications required for that role. Where women will be like, they could have 90%, they'll be like, no, I don't have the 10%. They look at what they lack rather than what they have. I want you to be more of a glass nearly full kind of thinking, that I've got nearly all of it, so let me just go for it, rather than, oh, I'm missing this amount. Don't look at the lack, look at the abundance and run with that. Okay, so often we do all of this before we get the advice. The advice could help you to get there quicker. The support, the structures and the systems could actually help you to get there quicker. Are you guys getting this stuff? Are you know, you're hearing me, you're getting all this. So what, okay, so what you could do instead. See, I want you to be working with quality suppliers. So, you know, so the thing is that no one starts a business to work harder and to earn less. But without some kind of system, without some kind of structures, that's what most people end up doing. You just start working harder, you start putting every single hour in, you start doing lots of things, doing. Okay? But you just need to have a system, you need to work smarter. You need to look at alternative ways of working. And I want you to have that kind of simple blueprint system in place, something that can help you to earn reliable, consistent quality supply. So you'll know exactly where to look for them. You'll know exactly where to go. Remove the stress from your life, from your business. And you know what? It's actually awesome. It's a pretty good feeling when the penny drops. Like I was saying, over the last year, I've more than doubled the amount of suppliers in my network now, because there's so many new ones coming to the forefront, and I'm connecting with them, learning about them. I'll be visiting more when I go to Ghana, and and testing them out and building the networks. Okay, so there's more and more people coming to the network, so there's opportunity there for you. Okay, and you're starting to see that the 1-1 tailor by the wayside is not is the thing that's stopping you. It's stopping you growing. It's stopping you scaling, as well as having a limited mindset around money, around investment, around the things that you need to have in place in order to grow. Okay. You can start, imagine meeting the suppliers face to face. Imagine connecting with the right people, cutting the time to enjoying the money that you spent on those bad quality samples with the 1-1 tailor by the roadside. So your business should be set up like this. What you need to be doing is thinking this way. So let me just let you know, Ugandan cotton is one of the best quality cottons in Africa. One of the best quality, because the staple. And for those of you who are cotton boffins in the house, you know, understand your cotton, the staple length of the cotton qualifies it as good grade, okay? And there's different grades of cotton as well. And if it's a longer staple, it means that it's better quality, because it means that you are able to prepare it, and you're able to also spin it and then knit it or weave it or whatever you do to the end of the process into textile. Okay, but Ugandan cotton is one of the best cotton in Africa. So you can think of Ugandan cotton, of getting that Ugandan cotton, the same way that you're setting up your business in Africa. It can be it's a series of processes. So you have to pick your ideas. You pick your ideas. You gin your thoughts. In a ginnery, that's where you remove all the unnecessaries. You remove the parts that you don't need. You separate the bowl. You separate the parts that you don't need from the parts that you want to keep. So you gin your thoughts. Pick your ideas, gin your thoughts. And you spin together all those thoughts and develop the concepts. So it starts to take shape. It becomes usable. It becomes something you can work with. And then you start to knit or weave it together to form a tangible product. And that's just forming the foundation of your business. So pick your idea, Gin your thoughts, get rid of all those unnecessary uncertainties, start spinning all those thoughts together and develop those concepts so it starts to take shape. Then you do your knitting or your weaving of together of this and forming a tangible product. So it's the same way, the way that you pick cotton and you work with cotton industry is the same way that you set up your business in African fashion, okay? So what do you need to do in order to confirm, what do you need to be doing now? What needs to be done now? I would say to you, let's do this thing. I'll give you a task. So there's 3 things that you need to consider to ask yourself before you start posting on Instagram or Facebook, wherever on social media. So you've got this product, you notice that we've looked at where your sourcing strategy has been a bit offline. You know that there's so many other brands out there doing similar things that you're doing. You want to separate yourself from them. I want you to consider these 3 things before you start to post on Instagram or Facebook or wherever it is. And ask yourself these things. So number 1, does this content, does this image, does this video, the content, does it stir a desire for my products? Is it making people curious about the products and does it sell? Are you selling it? Are you illuminating it? Are you creating a desire that people didn't even know that they want, that they needed? Does that content stir desires? Every time you put something down, does the content stir desire? Does it make them want to buy it? That's number 1. Number 2, does this content, this image, this video, this post, this whatever you put it in, does it build KLT? Know, like, and trust. This piece of information sharing, does it build that? And it's all about, relatable content. It builds you a community, it builds you an audience. If you're thinking about that, building know, like, and trust, you want people to start to get familiar. It's familiarity. They're like, oh, I know that product, I know that brand, I know that African fashion guide, I know Jacqueline Shaw, she's the one that does the African fashion stuff, isn't she? I know that, yeah, I know her. I like that post that she did, really, the colors and everything, I like it. I trust that girl because she's put up testimonials, she's put up, in fact, she's worked with the government, she's put all this stuff up, I trust her. And it's relatable content. And it builds community. It builds the audience. Does your posts, your content build that? Okay? And then number 3, does this content help people or add to their lives? Maybe yours does both. Maybe it helps because you're creating a product that is taking away a strain for them or a challenge, or it's something that's adding to their life. Okay? So that's something else to think about. So number 1, does it create desire? Number 2, does it create know, like, and trust to build community, relatable content? And number 3, does it help people add to their lives? Those are 3 things to ask. I want you to go ahead and do that. That's your assignment. Go back to your Facebook page, go to your Instagram, and tally up all the content that you've been posting. Let's just say the last month. Yeah, so go back to your beginning of the month and look at all the content that you've put out and ask yourself, look at the content where it stirs desire and start to tally the content that builds know, like, and trust, and the know, like, and trust, and it builds a community of the audience. And the 3rd thing, and look where your content is actually adding to people's lives. Okay, so you need more of number 1 and 2. Really, you need more content that is actually making. Number 1 is the big thing. It stirs a desire that makes them want to buy. Okay, but number 2 is really good because it means that you're building long-term relationships. So think about those 3 things, and then you can also, another tip is, real stories and things like that. You can add them in as well, but the stories are laying the foundation for where you are right now. Okay, so look at this. Me telling you this information, this is why I'm going to tell you this stuff, because Africa's fashion industry could generate another $15 million in the next 5 years. And it's already worth about, sub-Saharan Africa is worth about, in fashion industry is worth about $31 billion. Okay, and the textile industry accounts for the 2nd largest number of jobs in developing countries. There's so many things that I could tell you about this. And are you reflecting on these kind of points when you post on Instagram, on your social? Are you sharing the African story? The Africa's fashion industry, fashion and textile industry in Africa, is providing you with an opportunity for impact development and impact investing. Can you see that, and are you sharing that? If not, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? You could take a chance today to get involved by creating a business of impact and change whilst doing the things that you actually love doing. That's why I love doing it. My business does this. Creating desirable, sustainable product that's made in Africa, made by Africa, sourced in Africa, is for Africa all over it, okay? By not tapping into sourcing from Africa and sourcing from China, for example, instead you're providing your customers with a lower quality product that's taking money out of the African economy. It just looks like it's African, but it's just African inspired, okay? You know, I know I am about sourcing and making Africa giving back to the African community. As I always say, you want to have change, you want to see change in Africa, then trade with Africa and use a vehicle of fashion to do that, okay, as the vehicle. So this is probably why your current sourcing and manufacturing strategy may be cheapening your product. So get off this stress machine, okay, get off that stress machine. There's calls from having all these badly made samples. Finally have tools and gain tools, industry tools, industry understanding to access quality and experienced suppliers. And learn how to work smarter, baby, and not harder, and create and build and grow a business by positioning it to scale at the same time. Okay, this is going to separate your business from all the other Waxprint businesses out there, because you recognize what you're doing is not work, it's something that you love to do. And it's also creating impact, and if you're doing it in Africa. So take this action step, like I said to you, go and look back at your Facebook page and your Instagram and tally up those 3 things. You see, the big problem here is that the problem is that you're seeing all these finished products on the catwalk, the shows, the retail stores, from all the work that's been done before, behind the scenes. You're not seeing that until you realize that what's going on behind the scenes, that things won't change in your business. Each piece that you're producing has and each piece in this journey has a very strategic place to play in the blueprint of your business. And if you don't understand this role, you're probably going to mess it up. You're probably going to mess it up. Who you're sourcing from, where you're getting the fabrics from, who you're making your product, your marketing strategy, your business, your offering, your business, what type of business model you have, all of these things. If you don't see the part it has to play, you're going to mess up. Without knowing all the moving parts, without knowing your sourcing strategy, knowing about exporting, knowing about ways to sell and ways to sell your product before you even launch, all these things, sales strategies, without knowing all these things, you're probably going to mess up. And you're trying to go the easy route, it's not working. You're thinking, and then you think that systems don't work. You're thinking that African fashion businesses don't work. It's just because you've gone around things the easy way and tried to make things simple. But it's not working. So look, I've given you some tips today about how to differentiate your brand from many Waxprint brands out there. Hasn't been exactly what you thought I was going to say. You thought I was going to be telling you more about maybe the designs, or get an influencer, or blah blah blah, or add some pieces, or whatever. That's what you thought I was going to say, more about the aesthetics. But no, I take you deep inside the behind the scenes aspect of your business, and I want to hear what the results that you've had when you've gone and looked back to your Facebook and Instagram. I want to hear what they are. I want to hear what you've tallied up, and let me know what you've tallied up. You know, what of your posts are creating desire, which of your posts are creating a know, like, and trust factor, and making people and building your audience, and which of your posts are what's the third thing? Let's go back. Yeah, content that are helping people. So those 3 things I want you to tally up by going back to your Facebook page and your Instagram page as well, and go and tally up those results from all the posts that you've done. So what I've covered today is what the band-aid effect is, and why you need to avoid it at all costs. I've covered today why your current sourcing and manufacturing strategy may be cheapening your product. I've covered those 3 questions, like I just mentioned just now, to ask yourself before you start posting on Instagram. And I've covered, with all of this, I'm saying that you need to shift. You need to make a shift in what you're doing so that it can drive people to buy your product. So let's go continue this conversation. Let's follow up in my Facebook group, African Fashion Entrepreneurs with Jacqueline Shaw. Post below the video, comment below the video. Let me know if you've got any questions regarding differentiating your brand. Do let me know what your thoughts are in regards to those 3 questions and what you've come up when you've tallied up those thoughts. Make sure to type it in there in the group. Let me know what's happening and what's going on. I want to know and learn more about you. So let's continue the conversation, answer those questions in my Facebook group underneath this video. It's inside the Facebook group, African Fashion Entrepreneurs with Jacqueline Shaw. Do jump in so that I can answer your questions there. And let's continue. But that's it. I'll be back next week. I'm talking 1,000 miles an hour, but hopefully you got something from that and you have enjoyed what you've learned today. And I'll be back in next week for another video. See you in next video. I'm Jacqueline Shaw. I'm proudly your African fashion business coach. I'm here to help you to create, build and launch a sustainable fashion business made in Africa that is profitable as well as ethical. Okay, so let's start building trade with Africa so we can see change in Africa together. See you guys soon. Bye.